or death. We gas ourselves up, but we short on breath. Talking about we eating, but who we really cooking. Dreaming about greens, but ain't nobody looking. No land, no acres, no seeds in the ground. When the hunger hits, who's gonna be around? We starving every day, and it just ain't the food. Feeding the hood garbage, got 'em acting a fool. We flossing with rides, stunting with chains, but these bars we spitting just bring more pain. We guilty as hell, preaching all these lies, selling debt to the kids, and we acting surprised. We commercialize the pain, broadcast the grief, tell the youth to hustle, but hide the beef. We glorify the trap, invite them to the flames, just like Reagan brought the crack on planes. Back in the 80s when the streets got soaked, my people, my brothers, all got choked. Reagan said no trades, but we know the deal. He left us in the dirt, man, that shit was real. I was just a shorty watching it unfold, old enough to see how we got sold. War on drugs, but it was war on us. Cops on our necks, no love, no trust. They labeled us thugs, beast on the block, made us kiss the pavement while they cleaned our clock. Prison became business thanks to Reagan's game. Free labor is the truth in America's name. Slavery's dead, man. That's just a word. Read the 13th Amendment, it's still absurd. They lock us in cages, serving time for life. Double digits for wisdom, cutting sharp like a knife. I'm here to say, the chains in the air, it's time we break free, start showing we care. No more flexing for nothing, no more selling out. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to the Disenfranchised Voter. This morning I'm talking about housing betrayal, the Hollman Project in Minneapolis, $1 billion scandal. Maybe a lot of people don't remember that there was the Cisneros projects. I'm going to be talking about that today and talking about the scandal and the consent decree that was behind it. So with that being said, let me get into it. And here goes Rashad Lee with Losing My Mind.
Don't think your value's intact. Let's put some shit in perspective and only stick to the facts. You got a decent home, but tell niggas you live in the trap. Make no mistake about it, that's the definition of cap. Bitch, you don't know me, nigga. Fuck you talking about, I'm a goon. Got niggas suffering, I've been the definition of doom. Bitch, ain't no bluffing in me. Busted any nigga that move. I'm just a nigga from the gutter, I got nothing to lose. You got something to prove, a nigga, I can tell that you're different. But you'd rather make them afraid than be respected, so listen. I got niggas in penitentiaries just praying for visits, sending letters back to their children, losing family to sickness. They got their mama on the call, she don't know what she gon' do. They done killed the homie brother, retribution overdue. Niggas dying every day, it's better him than me or you. It's better you pay attention, it's only a chosen few. I get it, but shaking shit up is all I know how to do. They told me I wasn't nothing, and how I'm living is proof. They told me the sky's the limit, now all I see is the roof. My nigga, that's an excuse. Well, fuck it, ready to choose. Feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Every time I look around, there's somebody acting different. Nobody make a sign. Paranoid, I'm well conflicted. Keep that pistol by my side. No, I can't let them catch me slipping. Feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Every time I look around, there's somebody acting different. Nobody make a sign. Paranoid, I'm well conflicted. Keep that pistol by my side. No, I can't let them catch me slipping. I've been sitting in my room, shed tears, a new perspective. I done lost so many homes. homies, it's time to change my direction. Fuck the other side, I was screaming it to perfection. Know some niggas wanna hurt me, I gotta keep my protection. So I'ma give it to you real, no other reason than this. Just because you leave it alone don't mean you ain't fucking hit. You been talking about your bodies like these niggas forget. Knowing to pull up at your mama's on some typical shit. They ain't slide, niggas was snitching and his cousin got hit. I'm trying to change, why that mean I gotta act like a bitch? I heard these niggas gotta function at 5:45. We about to pull up on these niggas and then bury this shit. Oh, I get it, you at your breaking point, you searching for peace. So you gon' pull up on your enemies and put them to sleep. It seemed logical in the moment, but won't end how you think. I guess you call it how you see it when you in it this deep. And so he called one of his partners, put the choppers in the whip. They done pulled up on his ops, him and his partner just got hit. While taking his last breath, looked to his homie and told him, ain't no heaven for a G, we riders until it's over.
That was Rashad Lee, Losing My Mind. We're going to talk about the Hollman Project today. And there was a lot of, maybe people don't understand, or I want to kind of show the similarities between the consent decrees that we had with the Minneapolis Police Department and then the consent decree we had with the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority in Minneapolis. So, but before we get into all that, I know, ICE is this immigration shit is a big discussion. So I wanted to show this morning was Alpha News. They rode along with ICE. And I know people like, whatever, but I think it is good for us to see the behind what's going on. Just like right now in Minneapolis, they're having a city council meeting with the mayor, and they're talking about homeless and how somebody on their private property has a homeless encampment. And that's Sabari. And there's a lot of shit that comes with Sabari, and not only just him, but his entire family. And I really do think people really need to look at it and see the insides and get transparency and truth about what's really going on. So I wanted to show this. This is ICE, and Alpha News rode along with them. And this is actually what they captured a former state employee on camera. And I'm like, wait, how did they catch a state employee? ICE did, but we're not supposed to have. I'm like, man, this should be bullshit. But here you go, because here goes Alpha News, Liz Collins, and ICE.
And Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, has been on the move every day across Minnesota, making twice as many arrests under President Trump than the previous administration. Alpha News was given a rare opportunity to ride along with ICE officers from the St. Paul Field Office, which covers Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska. Take a look behind the scenes and see for yourself, and see how some policies and politics are making a demanding job even more dangerous.
All right, guys, let's get this started, because I have a guy already has eyes on and lights are on in the house.
The operation begins before daylight.
This is the vehicle he's going to be driving. Parks it in a one-stall garage.
With multiple agencies assisting ICE. As many as 10 teams are out working today statewide.
It's been kind of a whole of government approach in trying to kind of tackle some of the immigration issues that we're having here in the U.S. Unfortunately, we have no shortages of targets of illegal aliens with criminal convictions. We'll go where we find somebody that needs arresting.
Sam Olson serves as the field office director for ICE in St. Paul.
Our mission is to increase public safety. That's the goal, and I know that it seems like immigration can be this topic where there's, very, very polarizing. I think sometimes we're too easy of a boogeyman on this, but that's what we're here to do. We're law enforcement officers here to get the worst of the worst off of the streets and back to their country.
Is this a shift, would you say, from the previous administration?
It is a definite shift from the previous administration. We're enforcing the law as it's written on there, and I think that again, it seems to be kind of a source of contention for some folks that we're, essentially doing something that might be outside of the realm of the law, but we're not. I mean, these are the laws that were enacted by Congress, and with ICE being an executive branch agency, like we're mandated to enforce the laws enacted by Congress, and that's what we're doing now. Some people think that like our officers just get like dropped in from DC in the middle of the night and come on the streets and then like leave at the end of the day, but everybody who's working for us is from here. Most of the people are like born and raised in the metro, born and raised like outstate. So like they're here, they live in these communities. So like they have a pretty good reason for wanting to increase public safety.
Our first stop is an address in Plymouth. It's the home of a convicted sex offender and former director at the Minnesota Department of Education, who Alpha News exposed in June, sparking an online firestorm over the state's hiring practices. Wilson Tindy, a Kenyan national, was convicted of sexually assaulting a sleeping woman in the Twin Cities after breaking into her home. Tindy pled guilty to the crime 9 years ago. A judge ordered his removal from the United States. But a federal judge ultimately ruled that Tindy's removal was not warranted. Tindy spent 18 months in ICE custody and then landed taxpayer-funded positions at 2 separate Minnesota state agencies. After our reports, Tindy's status has changed.
We really have to go through, work with our legal team to make sure that the conviction would qualify for, removability from the U.S. So it did take us kind of a long time and a lot of research with help from our legal team, who are amazing. We did come up with a immigration charge because of his criminality. We do have, a warrant of arrest for him today. So, just praying all goes well and everyone remains safe during the arrest.
So this isn't a random pickup on the street today like the media likes to portray?
Right. Yep. It is not. Lots of hours went into this case.
ICE officers park blocks away to wait for the right moment to move in.
We're expecting him to leave the apartment, and normally he does go like northwest when he comes out of there. So we'll be probably the third car back.
He was heading towards his apartment.
Within minutes, they're on the move.
They got lights and sirens on right now.
Walking up to the townhouse, Tindy is already in handcuffs in his garage next to his BMW. He was opening up the garage door and about to leave.
Yep.
He didn't look to be resisting or surprised at all, and that's what you want.
Exactly, and I think that's what helps when we have multiple officers there to do it, because it can just kind of stop a situation from escalating.
As situations have escalated in the past. From assaults on officers, online doxing, and threats to family members, resistance against ICE now comes in many forms. That's also why we've been asked not to reveal their identities.
We've been encountering a lot more resistance in the field. Assaults on officers and uses of force are just up astronomically. I've seen it been close to like an increase of 1,000% on assaults on officers. And one of the really frustrating parts that we've seen is that we're not only getting the assaults from the people we're arresting, but we're starting to get them from just bystanders, people like not involved in the arrest. And that's been very unfortunate when we're out just trying to, lawfully conduct an arrest, that we're getting bystanders who may not agree with what we're doing, but they're interfering and obstructing. And so we've been instructing, and I've been, instructing our officers that when they get that resistance, if it rises to the level where we can arrest, that we will arrest and prosecute people that are trying to impede us from doing our job.
Earlier this summer, a protest erupted on Lake Street after a search warrant linked to a drug and human trafficking ring was executed. Isabel Lopez was federally charged with assaulting officers.
That's the only way to try to stop some of this stuff, is to show that, hey, if you do impede us, like there will be consequences.
Sanctuary policies that prohibit cooperation pose another set of challenges for ICE in deporting criminals from Minnesota. Just weeks after President Trump took office, Attorney General Keith Ellison said that under Minnesota state law enforcement agencies can't hold someone on just an immigration detainer. This poses substantial risks for everyone involved and the public, because instead of making arrests at jails, ICE officers have to track and make arrests at homes, places of work, and in public, where situations are typically less safe.
I remember like when I first started, doing, like when there was a lot of cooperation. Like I was a young officer, and I would just every morning I would go to Hennepin County first and then Ramsey County first and interview aliens right at the jail. You know what I mean? And do my investigations, place detainers, and we'd pick up between 5 and 10, sometimes 15 people, and then
That's
bring
not
them back
allowed
to the
now.
office to process. No, we don't have any space at the jail. There's really no communication. You know, if somebody is booked in that's here illegally, like they don't contact us. We have our officers in there. We could be doing our job, you know, and interviewing people, seeing where they're from, if they are here illegally, taking an action, if not. Right, because I mean, it's just like, you know, for me, just thinking of public safety and the immigration officer, like I want to know like who's here, and if somebody is not supposed to be here and they're committing crimes, I mean, like we need to take action on that. Because if we can arrest them from a safe, secure, like Sally Port of Hennepin County or Ramsey County, I mean, that's safer for everybody, right? The alien, the officers, federal law enforcement, local law enforcement, just everybody. To me, it just seems like it's common sense for public safety. This is where we are now, right? We're out here on the street, kind of sitting and waiting with, you know, 7 or 8 officers just for one person. And we could flip that around and we could have 7 or 8 people at Hennepin County Jail that we're just assuming custody of with 2 of our officers. And I think that really helps, because in places like Indiana, places like Iowa, they'll allow us access to the jails. They'll call us. We're there every day, just, you know, forming relationships with, you know, the correctional officers, with like other jail staff, you know, and I think it all blends into, I think, what we need to do, like have this, you know, federal, state, county, city cooperation that's necessary for, you know, to keep all Americans safe.
Despite the politics, ICE officers pushed through with some much needed help from the Department of Human Services, the Department of Justice, and other federal partners.
I challenged the leadership team, challenged staff to figure out like how we can, you know, still meet the mission, knowing that we have some of these, you know, kind of significant obstacles.
Good job, guys.
Perseverance and good work pays off, just as it did in apprehending convicted sex offender Wilson Tindy.
So this is our main office at Fort Snelling. What we do is after we arrest somebody, we'll bring them back in. We have secure Sally Port here, where they'll go in and they'll go into an intake process where anybody that we arrest is researched again. Any, you know, restraints that they have will get taken off. We'll put leg restraints on them, and then we'll begin the booking process.
Security cameras monitor where detainees will spend their first day in custody.
Just like any other booking room, the individual that we arrested this morning is going just through the initial processing. When we went out, we had the immigration warrant of arrest. We normally, thankfully, don't have a lot of like issues in here. I think it's something that our officers are pretty highly trained in too, where again, they know how to de-escalate. Like, they treat people with respect, and I think that helps, so we don't have usually a lot of issues here.
Wilson Tindy will soon be given a hearing with an immigration judge who will ultimately decide whether or not to deport him. But in Minnesota, Tindy is just one of many. The Big Beautiful Bill legislation signed into law provides billions of dollars for ICE to hire at least 10,000 new officers, with Minnesota expecting to ramp up its manpower. Also in Minnesota, several counties throughout the state are partnering with ICE through what's called the 287G program that allows state and local law enforcement agencies to assist ICE in identifying people for arrest and potential deportation. That'll do it for this episode of Liz Collin Reports. We'll see you next time.
That is interesting. You know, I think that, you know, our police departments and Minnesota need to be working with federal authorities, because, you know, like you said, it was said in the report, you know, it puts people at risk. Because I really don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I know people, it all comes down to politics, and it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't come down to politics, and I don't understand that. Like he said in the beginning, like when he was a young officer, he used to be able to go to the police departments or the jails and interview and, you know, put detainers on people and stuff like that. I do remember, you know, back when I was in my early young adult, I remember being in Olmsted County Jail and how, you know, we would have federal officers or federal marshals come in there, or, you know, because we do have in Rochester, there is the Federal Medical Center, which is feds. So you always seen, you know, I'm not saying they had a good relationship or whatever. I actually don't know. But I think you didn't see so many. I don't know. Media is different nowadays too, because it is so political, and it shouldn't really matter about the politics when it comes down to uh, somebody being here illegally. You know, when people commit crimes, uh, you know, just like in there when they showed, I know they probably showed Wilson Tindy for political reasons or whatever, blah blah blah. Because I know who Liz Collins' husband is. I know that's Bob Kroll. I know he used to be an MPD officer. He also was a union leader. He was cops for Trump in Minnesota. And there is a lot of back talk about maybe him becoming a. I don't know if they've announced it yet or not. The head top law enforcement officer, because right now I know it's Joe Thompson is the U.S. attorney, but I don't think they picked a top law enforcement officer yet. I haven't heard, I didn't really look into it yet though, but I haven't heard anything. But I know like Bob Kroll, and there was like 2 other names that were up for it. And I really don't, you know, a lot of people might talk about Bob or whatever, and I have my own issues, but our issues are different. You know, there is our, you know, oh, he's racist, he's blah blah this, he's blah blah that. Well, first of all, he should be on the Brady list. He's an officer that has, in his past, he's brought kids and teenagers to the river, part of the beat up crew. So when people talk about Minneapolis, I can understand why some people don't want to work in Minneapolis, and then others do. I know there's big talk about how they only have 260 patrol officers, and you know, pre 2020, bro, I should say pre George Floyd, they had 550. So that is a big difference. But I can also tell you that I think this is the way that Minneapolis has wanted to go. Elections have consequences. I know people who don't live in Minneapolis will talk about it, like me, and there'll be others. And to me, how big Minneapolis is, how big the 7 counties are down there, the 7-county loop, control Minnesota. They control Minnesota as a whole. They control the whole state. And I can understand why some people may be, oh, you're racist, you know, you're this, you're that. But I don't really think it's about that, you know. I wanted to show you something else and get into this episode today. And it's about, you know, the Hollman Project. A lot of people don't really understand what maybe, you know, the Cisneros Project is. You know, we talk about redlining, and now I think it's time to talk about gentrification. And that is something that we need to discuss is, damn, what the hell's going on? Okay, history. And I don't know why this ain't working weird. This is crazy. Internet's always goofy. Go to home. Damn, nothing want to work right. Damn. Something wrong with YouTube? Damn. Well, till I figure this out. I want to talk about little Rajan Stubblefield, and the man that was, in my eyes, executed. I know a lot of people might have their own opinions about it, but this, to me, I think people need to look at the video. And I know the body cam footage hasn't, or maybe that's his body cam footage, has came out. And I know at first there was, you know, videos of, you know, just the police shooting up a man. And in my eyes, yes, he needs justice. You know, Colorado has a long history of killing Black men for no reason. And to me, in my eyes, this was for no reason. The officer wasn't in danger. Beyond the skin color, there was nothing to be afraid of. He already put down the weapon, and his hands were up. Just because he was coming at you, I mean, I don't Yeah, I don't understand all that. The same thing with Patrick Loyola. It could be plenty other people. And it always comes down to where it's a death sentence, not that it's